Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and this is going to be another one of those quick little discussion videos. We're going to be talking about how big Nintendo's E3 could actually be this year. There's a lot of information coming about other games, so maybe that means this year's E3 could have a lot more open space for newer announcements. But we'll get into that in a little bit. I first want to talk about our sponsor, Audible. By clicking the link in the description below or going to www.audibletrial.com/AndresRestart, you can gain access to a 30-day free trial along with a free credit for an audiobook on Audible to listen to anything of your choosing. There are over 180,000 Audible books you could listen to. I've been listening to a lot of Nintendo history and video game history books through Audible. One I've been listening to more recently is Super Mario: How Nintendo Conquered America. Check it out if you want to get a strong history for Nintendo and Mario. But anyway, let's get started with the discussion. We know Nintendo's E3 Direct is coming on June 11th, and there will be a whole bunch of Treehouse footage showing us a whole bunch of gameplay of all these different games that will be featured during the Direct and maybe a few others. But we're also getting a Pokémon Direct the week before on June 5th, and today, as of this recording, May 28th, later in the night, we will be seeing a Pokemon Live conference as well. And then not too long ago, we just got the Mario Maker 2 Direct. And then of course, when you look at games like Fire Emblem and Dragon Quest XI's and Daemon X Machina, those games have already had a lot of information shared about them. So we already have a lot of information about a lot of the games that are coming out this year for the Nintendo Switch. What does that leave? Well, there's Town, there's Luigi's Mansion 3, there's Astral Chain, and there's Animal Crossing. Those games haven't really been talked about that much. I expect them to all be discussed at this year's E3, and we will learn a whole bunch about them. But those are about games that are already announced. What about games that have not been announced? Will we get any surprises along those lines? This is technically just DLC, but I think a Smash DLC character obviously makes sense to be announced. We only have had one announced so far, and supposedly they all will be out by February 2020, so you gotta think they're gonna start announcing more than just the one that was Joker. It's kind of bound to happen. E3 seems like the best bet for that. There's also been the narrative going around that Microsoft will be collabing with Nintendo and sharing some content at E3. I think there's a pretty good chance of it. I'm kind of hoping that we get a Rare Replay or a Master Chief HD collection, but we'll see what's actually announced once E3 comes around. But what about actual new games? Are there going to be any actual big Nintendo games that are coming out for the Switch that are going to be coming out this year that will be announced at this year's E3? I honestly am not sure. I do think maybe Metroid Prime Trilogy HD and Pikmin 3, a remaster of it, could be announced for the Switch and coming out this year. But those are remasters, right? They're not brand new, full-on new games. I do believe Retro Studios is working on something, and maybe it could be coming out this year. Maybe they finally reveal it. They are working on Metroid Prime 4 now. It probably suggests that they've already done with the game they're making. I'm of the belief that it could be Nintendo Land. I have a video on that if you want to check it out. But even if it's not Nintendo Land, if it's something else, it's also really cool. They could show it off at E3 and maybe it could come out this year. But this year is already pretty stacked when it comes to Nintendo published games, so I'm not expecting anything too big beyond a remaster like Prime Trilogy or Pikmin 3. But that doesn't mean we can't get surprises. Every year, they talk about how they're going to be focusing on games for that particular year, but then of course they always give us a few more things that are glimpses into the year beyond. I don't think this year is going to be any different. I think we're going to get a few announcements for games that are coming out next year. What could those be? Well, I mentioned Prime Trilogy. We already know about Metroid Prime 4. When Prime Trilogy is shown off, if it is shown off, they may say, hey, look, Retro Studios is hard at work with Metroid Prime 4. I don't expect any gameplay, but you know, they may at least mention it. With Pikmin 3, it's a remaster. If it comes out this year, they may use that to also go into saying, hey guys, don't worry, Pikmin 4 is also in development and it could be coming out next year. They might even say Pikmin 4 2020, we might get a logo. That could be pretty hype. I think that is in the cards. And then of course with Astral Chain, they may also bring up Bayonetta 3 as well. These games could get mentioned. It's possible. I think that's possible. But what else? Something completely unexpected. What if they were to show off or tease a new 3D Zelda or a new 3D Super Mario? I'd love that. I do not expect it. But hey, there have been some rumors that the next 3D Zelda could be shown off next year. But that's next year, not this year. But, you know, as Brandon from What About Nintendo suggested, it is maybe possible. Not likely, but maybe possible. So what else could there be? What sort of announcements could we see? Well, there's a few actually, and there's one game in particular that I have not mentioned yet that could even come out this year, and that's Monster Hunter for Nintendo Switch. There's been a few rumors of talking about Monster Hunter. This wouldn't be a port, this would be a brand new ground up Monster Hunter game for the Nintendo Switch. That could be really exciting. It might come out this year, and even if it is coming out this year or if it's going to be announced this year, It may not be shown off at E3, it could be shown off at Tokyo Game Show or some other time, but it is in the cards. That could be one of the games that they may show off to hype up fans and something for us to get excited about that could be really new. But going back to potential published Nintendo games, honestly, I've been feeling for a while that it's about time we get a new either Wave Race or F-Zero. Mario Kart's kind of been Nintendo's only real racing franchise that they've been using lately. I think it's about time we get another one. I'm not sure which one, but I'm hopeful that at least one of them will be shown off at E3. But regardless, I think it makes sense for Nintendo to start filling in the lineup for 2020. At this point, we basically know nothing about games that are coming out in 2020, so I do think come this E3, Nintendo will start filling in the lineup for 2020, and hopefully that lineup will also be as stacked as this year's lineup, maybe even more so. Regardless, I'm pretty hyped for this year's E3, even with the games that are announced for this year. That alone is going to prove to be a very entertaining show. I'm really excited, and I can't wait to find out what we're going to see come June 11th. But anyways, everyone, those are just my thoughts on how big this year's E3 could be for Nintendo. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.